Hello, everybody. Casey here, your host of Chick Chat Collective. Welcome back to another episode. I'm very excited today for this interview. We have Heather Holmes here. She is a mother of two small children, and she is the founder of Publicity for Good. And she has gone into business with her husband. She has a lot of experience in the media. And so we're really going to dive in here. Heather's going to introduce herself a little bit further, and we're going to hear some of her story. So welcome, Heather. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here. So I'm Heather, and I'm the founder of Publicity for Good. And really, my heart of wanting to be an entrepreneur really started when I was in high school, and my dad passed away of lung cancer. And then a couple years later, my uncle died. And I saw them both as very successful entrepreneurs. I saw the life that I had, very humble. Like when they both passed away, they were like buried in sweatpants. So what I mean by that is like I watched them build like 50 million plus dollar companies, but very humble. And they both passed away. And I knew that building a business was the only way that I could continue their legacy and be close to them. So that's really where my spark for being an entrepreneur started. I then went to school for communication. I then did an intensive at Georgetown studying conscious capitalism and how really you can make a successful business have a huge impact in your local community. So that's really where my heart for business started. And then from there, I worked at an ad agency doing PR. So I've been doing PR for over a decade.
Wow.
So the craft that I've been doing, I've been doing it for a long time. And I loved it. I was the highest producer, bringing in the most amount of new clients, securing the most amount of media opportunities. But at the time, I did not see how it would be possible to be a wife, have kids, and work really, really hard and be the best at your job, only because it was like 15-hour days, but like 15-hour days where like you're at your desk. You know what I mean? Like, and I didn't know how I was going to be able to do other things that were important to me.
Yeah.
And while I was there, at the time, I was into network marketing. I was making like lemonade money, like a couple $100 a month. But I valued the lessons and the personal development and some of the business skills that I learned from doing network marketing. And June 15, 2015, I was given an ultimatum from my boss at the agency. Either we'll work full time for us or, do network marketing. And I was hardly making any money doing network marketing. I loved it, but I loved helping people, but I wasn't making enough money. So June 15, 2015, I quit my, normal salary job, 50,000. Like I was in my mid 20s. I had my own apartment and a really cool place. And I literally quit, moved home to my mom's house. 2 weeks later, I got a minimum wage job at a really big gym. And really for 2.5 years, 3 years, I worked full time at that gym and built the business. I didn't leave the gym until we were probably at like 6,000 to 10,000 a month. And my biggest goal with building my PR company was to essentially replace or make more money than I did at the agency. And then one summer, at the time I only had a couple of clients. I went to LA for a press tour for a client. I didn't want to be rushed with that trip because I didn't know how much media interest we would get, and I didn't want to like be on a tight schedule. So I ended up booking a one-way ticket to LA and ended up staying there. I had two clients at the time who lived together in San Diego, and their roommate was moving out, and I didn't have really many expenses. So, they're like, hey, do you want to, live with us? It's only $550 a month. And I'm like, $550 a month to like live in San Diego, and it's sunny, and there's so many entrepreneurs in San Diego that I'm like, I'm just going to do it. Because at the time I was probably like mid 20s. I had no kids. I was super single. I lived in Ohio for like 26, 27 years. I needed a change. So I ended up living in San Diego, not really moving there, staying there, and finally got my first apartment. And that first apartment I got in the fall. But the struggle was that the clients would be late on paying. And so, my credit score was so horrible from building the business because I believed so much in it. That to even get the apartment, I had to give 3 months rent. So I had to give the rent was $1,500 a month. I had to give 3 essentially payments of $1,500 to get the apartment because my credit score was so low. Literally my account literally was in the red. And the only way I ate for like 2 months was getting Uber Eats, because Uber Eats would still charge your card and it would like go in the red and everything. Fast forward to that February. So the February after moving to San Diego, I met Austin, who's my husband now. He was in the Navy at the time, so he slowly started just helping me build the business ideas, brainstorming, financials, all those things. While he was in the Navy, he dreamed and I dreamed of traveling full time. So we did research on, do we live in an Airstream? Do we live in RV? Like, what's the path forward? You know, he was going to be getting out of the Navy in 2019, and we weren't the type of people who would just live in a place because we had to. We wanted to figure out, where are we going to have an impact? Where do we want to raise kids? All the things. So then from there, we bought our first Airstream in 2019. And the year of the pandemic, it was our first $1 million year as a company.
Yay.
And we just like lived in our Airstream for 3.5 years to now we settled in North Carolina, and we have 2 under 2. We're building our homestead and we're just figuring it out every day.
That's amazing. I mean, what a story. What's crazy too, I moved to San Diego when I was 20 from Virginia. I was like, I need a change, born and raised in Northern Virginia. And I had some family out on the West Coast, but I was like, see ya, and went out there, you know, and it was great. It definitely served its purpose, and I had my time out there, but ended up in North Carolina too. But how amazing. So tell us a little bit about really what got you, you know, so it's like we're here in San Diego in this apartment, charging Uber Eats, going into the negative so we can eat. And then we have our first $1 million year. So what were some of the steps that you guys took, or you, if it was just you at that time? I know your husband was in the Navy for some of it, but what would be some tangible steps you would tell people that is necessary, right, to get yourself out of that red zone and get on the other side of that?
So there's a couple of things. We would do time studies and company time studies to see where we're spending our time, how we can systemize things, how we can optimize things, automate things, or who we can hire to manage that. That's the first thing. It's hiring team members who are an expert in a certain area. So we started looking at bringing on team members to help with certain functions of the business. We started documenting our processes. We started looking at what was working to bring on sales and new clients. And we really started niching down to focus on working with purpose-driven, mission-driven brands and people. And then really leaning into expectation setting of what the outcome would be that we would get for our clients.
I love that. That's a really, really, really good advice. And so, you know, what sort of is that switch in your brain where now all of a sudden you guys you're making money and you're making good money and you're like, okay, you know, but you're living in an Airstream, you're traveling the country. Like, when did you guys decide, like, all right, we want to settle down now, put down some roots? You know, was it like we want to focus even more and scale the business even more, or we want to start a family now? Like, what was that like?
So we had always planned on traveling the country to figure out where we wanted to live. That was a part of the travel. We then settled on our top states of North Carolina and Tennessee. And then we settled on North Carolina, and we visited every small town around mountains. And then we chose where we are today in Morganton. If the pandemic didn't happen and things were open, we might have been on the road longer. But because the fun, some of the magic and fun was lost. Like we couldn't necessarily, for a period of time, we couldn't go to coffee shops and go to museums and parks as we once were able to before. So I think that's part of the reason why we chose to settle down earlier. And then as well, we were still living in the Airstream. We lived in an Airstream up until about a year ago. When we settled on North Carolina, we're like, we need to get an office. So we got an office downtown because we wanted and needed a space just to work outside of the home, because the Airstream is like a 23-foot Airstream. So that was the change. And then on top of that, when we learned we were pregnant, then we're like, okay, we need to have, like, we want a place to live. And we bought 22 acres. We have raw land, but building takes time. So our timeline sped up as well. But I mean, we lived in the Airstream as a family of 3 with Rose, probably up until she was about 3 months, and it wasn't hard at all. It was easy.
Yeah, they're like little cute blobs at that point, it's like, and there was only one, so it was like, okay, we can do this. But I'm sure she was getting bigger. You were like, all right, I'm feeling like we need a little bit of space. Are you there?
Yeah.
Okay, there you are.
Yes, I'm here.
Perfect. Well, that is amazing. So can you tell us now, what is Publicity for Good? Who do you guys serve? Who are your ideal clients? And really, what do you do for them? What do people come to you guys for?
Sure. So Publicity for Good, we work with purpose-driven, mission-driven entrepreneurs. We've worked with a lot of moms who've started a company out of a necessity. And why I love publicity and getting in the media is it doesn't matter where your business is as relates to the revenue size or the fancy funnel or a huge following on Instagram and social media. All you really need is your story. And literally the best place to start is looking at local media. And the why it matters is a couple of reasons. Number one, you're able to get your story and product in front of new audiences. So imagine going on your local CBS. Their audience size is probably like 500,000. It's going to be faster for you to reach 500,000 through being in the media or being interviewed than the strategy of building an Instagram account of 500,000 people. It's just quicker. You can literally be on one person's audience and make a difference. We see clients who are getting revenue. We had a mompreneur who started a cookie company, and her one TV segment brought her in $12,000. And a lot of people bought, like, instead of just buying one box, they bought like multiple orders. And now not only does she make revenue, but these are new customers for her to nurture for the duration of time. But really, publicity is you getting featured in the media, you telling your story, you inspiring others, talking about how you can, be an entrepreneur too, or it's even sharing tips to help others. Example, November is National Entrepreneurship Month. Maybe you are a small business and you're an expert at social media. You could literally go to all of your local media outlets as an expert to share tactical information to help other entrepreneurs. And it's legacy. So now when people Google your name, they not only see your website, but they see links and links and links of articles and stories about you. And then holistically, you have all of this validation. So when you're doing a launch or you're updating your website, you can literally add all of the press on your website. You can, put on your Instagram page. I mean, you guys were on a local show. You could talk about how fun it was being on TV and, how it's helping you with your mission,
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. And so it's really, are you focusing more on small businesses, local businesses, or really anyone like across the country or across the world can come to you guys and seek out some service with this?
Every media market, but we have clients all across the US and Canada as well. Really,
Okay.
mission.
Sorry, can you repeat that?
It believe their business is making a difference in the world or their community, Yeah. So again, it is really any entrepreneur who really wants to get their story out there. And it could be in a local hometown. It could be, it doesn't really matter. We work with businesses, all shapes and sizes. There's a woman entrepreneur we worked with before us. She was never in the media. And in a year's time, she was in the media 100 plus times, 50 TV stations. And now she's
Wow.
speaking and they're paying her.
That's
So
awesome.
um, very accessible and possible for people to get in the media.
I love that. That's incredible. And I love the way you guys go about it. You're very intentional
Mhm.
with what you're trying to do for these businesses. And I think that's amazing. And so, lastly, I want to tell everyone about this amazing event that you have coming up and give us all the deets. Like, what's it going to be about? Who's going to be there? Who needs to come to this?
Sure.
And what's it going to look like?
So, really, as we wind down this year, we wanted to put together an event in person in North Carolina. If you're in North Carolina or you're wanting to travel to enjoy the incredible Blue Ridge Mountains, like now's the time to come. So, we're putting this event for people to come to reflect. You can bring your kids. We will have childcare, but it's Elevate 2023, and we're going to give you a roadmap to create your comprehensive communications plan. We're going to give you our exact framework, the compare framework, to create your plan so that in the new year you have a comprehensive plan using AI, understanding thought leadership, really how to elevate your brand to scale through the means of communications. And we've been putting this together from partnering with over 200 brands and just having a proven strategy to really help businesses scale. Because you have to have a plan, and we're literally giving you a framework. It's in person and it's virtual. We're really excited about that. It's October 11th, 12th, and 13th. And this is really for nonprofits, small businesses, coaches, people that have products. And the heart of it all is just people who are intentional or purpose driven. The thing I love is you don't know who's going to be transformed from your story and your business. And we're finding that brands are more likely to say yes to you when you have those media logos and you've been in the media. It just shows you're truly an expert making a difference in someone that they can trust.
Yeah. Yay. I love that. And so, everyone, we are going to include links to this event in the show notes. So be sure to check that out and join. Tickets are on sale through when?
Through October 11th, the website is compareframework.com. And the event is called Elevate 2023 Elite Communication Strategy. And you literally are going to be given the exact plan to follow to scale your business with communications. And I know people that come in person, you'll get to see Casey. So fangirl moment, right? You want to listen and come hang out with the people that you listen to on their podcast. You'll be here, which is incredible too.
Yeah, I'm so excited. So, everybody, be sure to check this out. And Heather, thank you so, so much. It was such a very informative conversation. I think people are going to walk away learning. They have learned some things. I certainly have. And just knowing more about what you do and your business and your brand and what you're doing really to help so many other businesses. So I just want to thank you for that. I think it's very needed and very important. And I'm really excited to be with you at the conference.
Me too.
All right. All right, everybody. We will see you next time. Thanks for tuning in.